What happens when powerful people decide a lie sounds better than the truth? Well, welcome back to the Coachman. And for today's story, we're going to be reading the History of Susanna. It's also known by Susanna and the Elders, and I've read there's many different versions, or if you want to call reiterations of what the title is. But this one, it's going to be going way, 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 way back to ancient Judea, and actually from the Book of David in the Bible. So, with that being said, let's get into it, and I hope you enjoy. There was a man living in Babylon whose name was Joachim. He married the daughter of Hilkiah, named Susanna, a very beautiful woman and one who feared the Lord. Her parents were righteous and had trained their daughter according to the law of Moses. Joachim was very rich and had a fine garden adjoining his house. The Jews used to come to him because he was the most honored of them all. That year, 2 elders from the people were appointed as judges. Concerning them, the Lord had said, "Wickedness came forth from Babylon, from elders who were judges, who were supposed to govern the people. These men were frequently at Joachim's house, and all who had a case to be tried came to them there." When the people left at noon, Susanna would go into her husband's garden to walk. Every day the 2 elders used to see her, going in and walking about, and they began to lust for her. They suppressed their consciences and turned away their eyes for looking to heaven or remembering their duty to administer justice. But both were overwhelmed with passion for her, but they did not tell each other of their distress, for they were ashamed to disclose their lustful desires to have intercourse with her. So I'm going to stop right here, and I just want to say, think about this. 2 old, dusty, powerful men wanting after some young, musty, let alone married woman. Where have we seen this shit? I mean, you can't make this up. We're talking about 2,000, 3,000, whatever years ago, and this still happens to today. Unreal. Day after day, they watched eagerly to see her. Of course they did, peeping Toms. One day they said to each other, "Let us go home, for it is time for lunch." So they both left and parted from each other. But turning back, they met again, and when each pressed the other for the reason, they confessed their lust. Then together they arranged for a time when they could find her alone. I kind of have some really unruly things to say, but I'm gonna leave it to the end. Till the end. Then I'm gonna let loose and just say whatever I gotta say. For now, let's get to the story. Once, while they were watching for an opportune day, she went in as before with only 2 maids, and wished to bathe in the garden, for it was a hot day. No one was there except the 2 elders, who had hidden themselves and were watching her. She said to her maids, "Bring me olive oil and ointments, and shut the garden doors, so that I can bathe." They did as she told them. They shut the doors of the garden and went out by the side doors to bring what they had been commanded. They did not see the elders because they were hiding. Straight scumbaggery. When the maids had gone out, the 2 elders got up and ran to her. They said, "Look, the garden doors are shut, and no one can see us. We are burning with desire for you. So give your consent and lie with us. If you refuse, we will testify against you that a young man was with you, and this was why you sent your maids away." Susanna groaned and said, "I am completely trapped. For if I do this, it will mean death for me. If I do not, I cannot escape their hands. I choose not to do it. I will fall into your hands rather than sin in the sight of the Lord. I like this. I like this lady already. She sounds familiar, like somebody I know. And luckily enough, her name is Susanna as well. I ain't gonna lie, when that woman didn't want to do shit, she didn't do it. It was awesome. Then, Susanna cried out with a loud voice, and the two elders shouted against her, and one of them ran and opened the garden doors. When the people in the house heard the shouting in the garden, they rushed in at the side door to see what had happened to her. And when the elders told their story, the servants felt very much ashamed, for nothing like this had ever been said about Susanna. That's because they know these two fuckers are just like slime balls, yeah? That's why. The next day, when the people gathered at the house of her husband Joachim, the two elders came, full of their wicked plot to have Susanna put to death. In the presence of the people, they said, "Send for Susanna, daughter of Hilkiah, the wife of Joachim." So they sent for her, and she came with her parents, her children, and all her relatives. See, I'm telling you, this lady's got it right, eh? You don't come by yourself. You bring all your kinfolk. Those who were with her and all who saw her were weeping. Then the two elders stood up before the people and laid their hands on her head. Through her tears, she looked up toward heaven, for her heart trusted in the Lord. The elders said, "While we were walking in the garden alone, this woman came in with two maids, shut the garden doors, and dismissed the maids. Then a young man who was hiding in there came to her and was intimate with her. We were in a corner of the garden, and when we saw this wickedness, we ran to them. Although we saw him have intercourse with her, we could not hold him in because he was stronger than we. And he opened the doors and got away. We did, however, seize this woman and asked who the young man was, but she would not tell us. These things we testify." Yeah, you can testify. Also, do a couple other things that I won't say. Because they were elders of the people and judges, the assembly believed them and condemned her to death. Then Susanna cried out with a loud voice and said, "O eternal God, you know what is secret and are aware of all things before they come to be. You know that these men have given false evidence against me, and now I am to die. Though I have done none of the wicked things that they have charged against me." The Lord heard her cry. Just as she was being led off to execution, God stirred up the Holy Spirit of a young man named Daniel, and he shouted with a loud voice, "I want no part in shedding this woman's blood." All the people turned to him and asked, "What is this you are saying?" Taking his stand among them, he said, "Are you such fools, O Israelites, as to condemn a daughter of Israel without examination and without learning the facts? Return to court, for these men have given false evidence against her." So all the people hurried back, and the rest of the elders said to him, "Come, sit among us and inform us, for God has given you the standing of an elder." Daniel said to them, "Separate them far from each other, and I will examine them." When they were separated from each other, he summoned one of them and said to him, "You old relic of wicked days, your sins have now come home, which you have committed in the past, pronouncing unjust judgments, condemning the innocent, and acquitting the guilty, though the Lord said, 'You shall not put an innocent and righteous person to death.' Now then, if you really saw this woman, tell me this. Under what tree did you see them being intimate with each other?" He answered, "Under a mastic tree." And Daniel said, "Very well. This lie has cost you your head, for the angel of God has received a sentence from God." Wait, that doesn't sound right at all. "For the angel of God has received a sentence from God and will immediately cut you in two." All right, I guess that's the way it goes. Then, putting him to one side, he ordered them to bring the other. And he said to him, "You, offspring of Canaan, and not of Judah, beauty has beguiled you, and lust has perverted your heart. This is how you have been treating the daughters of Israel, and they were intimate with you through fear. But a daughter of Judah would not tolerate your wickedness. Now then, tell me, under what tree did you catch them being intimate with each other?" He answered, "Under an evergreen oak." Daniel said to him, "Very well. This lie has cost you also your head, for the angel of God is waiting with his sword to split you in two, so as to destroy you both." Then the whole assembly raised a great shout and blessed God, who saves those who hope in him. And they took action against the two elders because out of their own mouths Daniel had convicted them of bearing false witness. They did to them as they had wickedly planned to do to their neighbor. Acting according to the law of Moses, they put them to death. Thus, innocent blood was spared that day. Hilkiah and his wife praised God for their daughter Susanna, and so did her husband Joachim and all her relatives, because she was found innocent of a shameful deed. And from that day onward, Daniel had a great reputation among the people. So, so originally, I'm not going to lie to you, I was going to talk about the power structure in the United States, right? It sucks that sometimes it has to become to a race thing, but it is what it is. So I'll keep it to a power thing, just so I'm not being a dickhead, yeah? Because I can be. Here's the thing, that there's two sides of the story, yeah, for me. One is, I get it, like, there's going to be corruption anywhere. Because the world, you have to have the good, you have to have the bad. The world will always balance itself out. You'll never get rid of it. You know what I mean? But I do believe that when people go to the wrong side, okay, you get punished. When you go to the right side, you get praised. It's just the way it should be, right? But here's the thing, yeah. Like, being African American in the United States, okay? I've seen a lot of, like, I've seen this shit and this story over and over. And honestly, the funny part about it is that as much as I've traveled the world, I've seen it over and over. And I will say this, I don't think it's a white or black or whatever thing. I think it's a power thing. And I'll leave anybody with this. Most people, when they talk about the wealthy and the rich and all that, oh, we should punish them and we should punish this. The thing that's dangerous about that is that, look, money, power, all of that, right? It's just as bad as crack. It's a drug. You know what I mean? And when you have power, you want more of it. And you want more of it because there's never enough. It's never going to be good enough. I'll even give you two examples. Yeah? We all saw the most notorious power-hungry motherfucker in the world, Adolf Hitler. Where did that end him? Just to give you just to give you the similar, but yet somebody who went overboard. Look at Diddy. Both of them. You know what I mean? They came from nothing, got all this power, and look what they did with it. Just, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. It's never going to be enough. So for me, like, this story, it hits home because not only is it like thousands of years old, but it's like, we've seen this story and people still don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, they still just don't understand. But the worst part about it is that we don't have enough people like Daniel that are willing to say, you know what? Nah. But the thing about it though, and here's the ultimate, is too many times we have people that try to be like Daniel. And I would say in today's society, Daniel, it needs to be all of us. Because that's just the way the world is now. There's too many people, it's too big, that if we were all Daniels, guess what? This kind of fuckery wouldn't happen. But it's those individuals that feed the power, like these gentlemen, like giving in, doing whatever they say. But it only takes one person to stop that shit and say, nah, we ain't doing this no more. But then that's the thing. Notice how, like they say, it takes a village, right? The village got one. Susanna had Daniel. Daniel had the village. And also Susanna had her family. And guess what? That's how you get this. So for me, this story is awesome. And even though I'm not like very religious, you know what I mean? Still, I think there's always a lesson to be learned. And it's just like, yeah, like the truth, it is fragile. You know, once fear, shame, and power enter the room, you know what I mean? But the thing about it though is that a lie repeated confidently too can feel stronger than any reality, and and it's hard to fucking stop it. And we see that every single day with the media. You know what I mean? It's just you keep saying it, eventually everybody's going to think it's true. But I think but when enough of us are like skeptical and saying, nah, I don't believe that bullshit, then it's all gravy. And then the world, like I said, it evens itself out. So I'm glad I went down this route than the other route, because I would have went really off. But I hope you did enjoy the story. Hope you did enjoy my nice little, I don't know, 3-4 minute rant or whatever, and got some entertainment out of it. But with that being said, I hope you come back, because next time we're going to be stepping into a story called 39 by Henry Lawson. And it's a poem that is filled with exhaustion, survival, hardship, and the heavy emotional weight carried by ordinary working people trying to make it through another year of life. So with that being said, until next time, take care.